What is up, everybody? David Moss Jr. here, and on today's episode, we have Pete Nelson, the founder of Sisu Sauna. And Pete, I want to start this episode by saying, when I first entered into the review space of saunas, I really didn't think there was going to be a big difference in quality, craftsmanship, and just the overall people behind the product until I met you. And I would love for the viewers and listeners of today's show to get to know you a little better and hear your story. So why don't we start there? Pete, what got you into saunas?
First, David turned into a really, really good friend very, very quickly. I think that there's a lot of similarities in the way we like to live life, our weirdness, our craziness, and we immediately connected. And you have a level of authenticity and trust behind you that I just really admire. So congrats on all the success that you've earned.
Thanks, bro.
And Sisu really started as a result of this kind of clash of my life and my business partner Nick Daddis's life. And so the way that it really started, I was a trainer at a local gym in Cleveland, Ohio, where I live. And I grew up in Cleveland and always lived there. And when I was 19, I was a trainer, was in Army ROTC, going to school full time, and that escalated into me actually getting medically rolled by the Army, and I dropped from school and I went all in on training and me being an athlete. And through that process, became a manager of this gym. And then we had a client come in who was raving about this XPT experience. And if you're not familiar with XPT is this incredible fitness experience out of Hawaii, led by Larry Hamilton and Gabby Reese. And
I want to go to that.
same, we should totally go.
100%. Laird is a legend.
Yes.
He's been an icon in my life since I was a kid. And I feel like, that like you're only a couple people removed from the people that you really want to meet. So between the people we know, we should definitely be able to do that.
So what's so crazy is that my business partner, Nick, went to an XPT experience. Him and his wife went, and Laird and Gabby were there. And the only other person that was there was Tim Ferriss.
Wow.
So all of them were sitting in a barrel sauna. And when they came back to Ohio, he's like, I got to buy this barrel sauna. Like, it's good enough for Laird, it's good enough for me. So he bought barrel sauna. And then when he bought the barrel sauna, he was telling me about how nobody was really full selling or drop shipping these saunas.
Yeah.
Like, why couldn't I? Granted, Nick is an entrepreneur. He's always entrepreneurial thinking. And he brought this idea to me, and he bought a sauna for his home. And then we bought a sauna for our home. And then next thing you know, we have a dealership together. This is just prior to COVID. And we started selling to family and friends maybe once every other month. And then COVID hit. And when COVID hit, it was such a wall. Like, we had a 12-month period without a single sauna sale. And it was really rough. And at the time, my business partner, Nick, he and his wife were about to put a blind bid in for an old library in the Cleveland area to convert it to a learner-driven school called the Acton Academy. Meanwhile, my gym brand that I owned, that I went from a manager to now owning, was taking off as well. And we're like, hey, let's split and go in our separate ways. And so we're talking about this on an early morning trail run at 5 a.m. And we decided then and there to actually end the dealership completely. And I'm so happy that we decided that, because once we made that decision, it forced us to think, why was this a failure? And it made us realize that there was so much opportunity for us to go into manufacturing ourselves and really do it the right way. And so we really put up our head up into the clouds and decided right then and there that we wanted to do an Amish handcrafted, U.S. source, U.S. made, hot, beautiful, quality, and simple sauna experience for people, and be able to do it to where people could just simply do add to cart. Because everything that we experience as customers and consumers, and then also drop shipper, we realized that nobody was doing it that way.
Dude.
And it was the right way. And so we launched in August of 2022, and now we're at our 3-year mark, August 1. And it's been a total blessing. And we've learned everything of like what to do in business, what not to do in business across 3 years. And we're always learning, but it's been really impactful for our family, our internal team, and just the relationships that we built.
Bro, that's such an inspiring story. So when you started this, there really wasn't another sauna company doing the direct-to-consumer, right? Like, everyone had to go through almost like some sort of a forum. Like, I remember I had friends try to buy saunas, and unless you just ordered like a super cheap, ineffective one off of Amazon, typically the really cheap infrareds, it was a process. Like you had to know somebody who could help get you a sauna or try to, I don't even know. Like there was just, it wasn't an easy process. And that's one of the things that from me, and we'll get to this in a second, but like one of the things that I love is the ease of purchase. So like the people who watch my review videos, and I review your competitors, I review a ton of different saunas and give people all the different options. One of the things I love is how easy it is to purchase. Your website is clean. It's very easy for somebody to purchase. And I think that's where a lot of the high ticket items in the wellness space kind of get it wrong, is they put too many walls up that make it difficult for somebody to just purchase. Like when you see something you want, you should be able to get it, and the experience of purchasing it, building it, owning it, and maintaining it should also be an enjoyable one. And I commend you for that. And we'll get into that a little bit more. So you guys started this company. This was 3 years ago, almost 3 years ago. It's almost August 1st.
Yeah.
How many saunas do you think you've sold in 3 years?
So we were trying to do the math. I think we've sold close to 1,800 saunas since then, which is incredible. And it gives me goosebumps thinking about that, because when we launched Sisu in August of 22, I think it was the second week in, we operate on EOS, which is Entrepreneurial Operating System. It's just a really black and white way of being able to grow a business and keep it organized and keep everybody functioning the way they need to. But through this process, there's something called the Vision Traction Organizer. I recommend any business owner to do this. In the Vision Traction Organizer, one of the main key things is setting a 10-year target. And a lot of times you want the 10-year target to be quantifiable and subjective, like feeling-based.
For sure.
And the quantifiability for that, and I don't think that's a word, but I think it
Sounds right.
yeah. I think to quantify it, we said our 10-year target was 40 saunas per month. And we hit our first 40 sauna month about 9 months in or so.
Bro.
And it made me realize, like, wow, one, this is a blessing. And two, it made us immediately pivot into thinking way bigger than we were currently thinking.
Dude, that's amazing.
And it forced us to grow, forced us to adapt. And I wouldn't want it any other way. And the relationships that have come from those 1,800 saunas out there are something that I think is our largest equity that I personally have in the company, and the thing that we all like really hang our hat on is just building great relationships, not only with our customers, but our ambassadors and all the amazing brands we get to connect with.
Well, I'm super blessed to say, as an ambassador for Sisu, that, I mean, the relationships we formed 2 years ago, prior to me getting into your sauna for the first time, we formed a relationship over the phone, had a great conversation. We immediately hit it off. You're married.
Yep.
You have 2 kids, about to be 3.
Yeah.
Congrats on that. That's so amazing. Actually, I want to pivot. Because this is something that I think is incredible. I wasn't always in the health and wellness space. I was in the car business for 20 years. Many people who are watching or listening know my story. And about 3 or so years ago, I jumped all in on health and wellness, taking care of myself and helping bring light to products that can help and change many, many lives. And it's been such a really cool compounding effect of all these different things that I'm exposed to now. My kids are exposed to them. My wife's exposed to them. Our family's exposed to them. Our friends. And it's just this ripple effect of health change happening all in our circle. As the owner of an incredible sauna company, how has being in the wellness space impacted your health, your wife's health, and your families?
So interesting. I saw a photo of our family, and I just looked really inflamed prior to Sisu. I was always fit. I was always running ultras and doing things that I was really passionate about. But I'll never forget the first, I think it was a founders only event, and it was maybe 6 months in. I just looked really large. And I remember being like, wow, I need to really grab a hold of my health. And thinking about what Sisu means, Sisu is a Finnish concept which stands for perseverance, tenacity, bravery, and grit. And like our tagline is built for resilience. And I realized like that wasn't really the lifestyle that I was living. I was living it to 60%, but not to 100%. And so when you think about like what Sisu offers, it offers like awesome at-home quality and simple sauna experiences that people are really excited to build community with. And so that's exactly what I was doing my health as. Like I needed to pivot into creating a super convenient way of training things that I actually want to train, not somebody telling me what to do. Like I'm going to go do what I want to do.
Right.
So that meant like I'm going to lean into running more because I love running. I love lifting. So I'm going to lift weights, but not like CrossFit weights where I'm constantly blowing myself up and feeling inflamed. And like I'm going to sauna more. I'm going to cold plunge more. But ultimately the glue to that was the accountability and the community of doing it with other dads. and doing it with people that would come into town and our friends. And so I would start to include friends on runs. I would start to include friends at our 5:30 a.m. like garage lifting sessions, and that became the catalyst and the glue. And now that's the expectation. And it's really developed this really cool like dad community of like early AM risers before they go to wake up their kids in the morning, is that we're all getting our hour lift in and then sauna cold plunge, and then we're off to wake up our kids. And it's the raddest feeling in the world, knowing that like we taken care of and sharpened ourselves, like the true iron sharpens iron mentality. Like we're doing that in the morning. And so I really bought into that, and it made a massive difference in my fitness, my wife's fitness, the kids, and the kids see it. My wife feels that. My wife runs half marathons all the time. She trains CrossFit. It's been really, really fun. And the sauna then becomes this vehicle for, obviously recovery, but the aerobic side is fantastic. And I think that getting people that have never sauna before into a Sisu, and they get to experience like what an actual hot sauna feels like, and get them into their first cold plunge, you can't beat that. And to do it in the convenience of our own home, man, like, you can't beat the feeling.
It's amazing. And I got to experience not only seeing the saunas in real life, experiencing the heat. I got to go to the factory. I got to see the people building, sanding, filling, setting up, pre-drilling, like putting everything together. And the operation was super impressive. And the respect that I had for the materials that you used has been heightened a ton since I've had the opportunity to review a lot of different products. I get to see that, oh man, like the benches, the material used on the benches, which is what you're going to sit down on in a sauna, make a huge impact in the experience. If the bench is too narrow, it's uncomfortable. If there's too much gapping in between the boards, it's uncomfortable. If the screw is sticking up, it gets hot and you can burn your butt on it. There's so many things that you don't really realize, because a lot of people think, I love the, or just so everyone watching knows, we're actually in my side yard. We're not in the jungle. It looks like a jungle. So my dog and kids are back here watching, which I love. And it's just a part of it. And if you're listening, go to the YouTube channel and watch this as well. But one of the things that I really fell in love with was just the materials that you use. You hear all these crazy terms that people use, and they're these really cool words that make you feel like, oh, I need to buy this because it's got a special, thermal wood and stuff. And yeah, there's some cool benefits to some different things like that. But what I've realized is just a really good quality, thick cut of cedar is all you really need to have an enjoyable sauna experience. And your benches are wider. The wood, dude, building that sauna with mills and just getting to see each piece and each layer of the sauna after going to the factory, after hanging out with you at Running Man and getting to experience all of the saunas and doing the reviews with them, and then going to your house. And we've done a ton, and I'm super blessed to call you a friend and be able to really recommend Sisu Saunas with a happy heart. I guess I want to ask you this: in a world where it's so easy to just do white labeling, like anyone could go start a sauna company and order kits from China, put their label on it, and say they're an innovator. What made you, and how hard was it to start Sisu using hand-selected cedar from America?
I think one of the best things you could do if you are an entrepreneur is set the goal and set the ideal, paint the picture, like paint that perfect, like God-given picture, and then work backwards from there. So for us, we want to do a U.S. source, U.S. made, Amish handcrafted, simple SKU, but hot sauna company.
Yeah.
And do so in a direct-to-consumer model. So we knew that we were going to use Western red cedar. We didn't know that it was going to come from Idaho, because we had to figure out like which forestry group you could be able to utilize.
Right.
And then from there, we knew that we wanted to not use spruces or thermal woods. And I think that cedar has this aromatic sensation to it that you just can't, unless you've been in a Sisu, you just can't fathom or understand it. But then also there's this thickness and like, I don't want to say ruggedness, but this durability to the wood, where it's just big. It's thick and big, and like when you lean back on it and you feel it and like you're holding it, it's dense. And if you've built one of our saunas, it's hard to compare.
It is.
And I'm not one person to like, hey, I'm gonna side by side compare all these different saunas. It's just
maybe I should. Yes.
So there's that. When we were deciding like how we were going to structure Sisu, we knew that we wanted the best craftsmen, and the best craftsmen in the world are literally right in our backyard in Cleveland, Ohio, and in a spot called Burton in Geauga County. And the Amish community has really just completely ran behind this idea and have completely supported it, and there's so much pride in it. So every single time when you show up to Burton, to our facility, and you see these expert craftsmen hand touch, hand select, go through every single piece of wood, make sure it's sanded the right way. If there's any holes or any abrasions, that they're filling it and then smoothing it and then sanding it again and then double checking, and then it's pre-wrapped, and then the way that it goes inside the crates is like so perfectly fit for it to be able to be shipped the right way. And we've really obsessed over the experience. And I'm not saying like we're a perfect sauna company. There's no perfect business. But I totally believe in always learning from the customer, no matter what stage of business. You could be 10 years in, you could be 1 year in, but regardless, every customer experience is something that you could always learn from. And so for us, like, we've gotten to take the best feedback of like, man, this is what really sets us apart, and like lean into that more. And stuff like where we've dropped the ball, like we own, and then we correct on the next order. I always make it right for the customer. So for us, it's always about doing like what God's asking us to do, which is like do the hard right over the easy wrong, no matter what. And what that bleeds into is the three main pillars of Sisu, which are quality, simplicity, and trust. And like within those three things, that's where we really hung our hat and be able to sell units and be able to take care of our customers.
Dude, I love that, and it shows. So I take pride in putting reviews out there for products that not only are going to give the consumer an incredible experience, but that the consumer is going to be able to have a great long-lasting time with it. Their family can enjoy for a long time. But one of the hardest things is sometimes things break. Sometimes things don't go right. Sometimes there's some misinstalled things, or just things happen. And to me, it's huge when a founder or a brand will step in and stand behind anybody who's ever purchased a product that I have recommended or they've purchased because of one of my videos or reviews. And I actually have only had one person reach out to me that purchased a Sisu, and I think I'm responsible for like, I don't know, 5 to 10 sales a month or something.
Yeah, I mean, David's one of our best ambassadors. And I didn't want to compare or anything like that.
Yeah, no comparing.
But you put a lot of sales through the Sisu funnel, which has been a blessing. And I think like one of the coolest parts is that people trust you. So like they use you as a resource.
Yeah.
And like you're there for them and you quickly answer. And like that's the expectation that I have for our team. And so, I think that no matter what, again, we always stand by the customer, stand by the product. And ultimately, like if you're going to spend money with us, I want you to know that you're covered.
Yeah.
I want you to have the best experience possible. And otherwise I would never be in business.
And that's what's awesome. And the one person who reached out to me was like, hey, dude, like, have you ever seen this happen in a sauna? And it was the guy who lived in Arizona, and the wood would contract because it's super dry in Arizona. And not only did you make it right, and I think you even sent a team out there to take that one down, make a ton of adjustments that are now in all of your saunas.
Yeah.
You rebuilt the right one out there for him, and he's like, dude, I never expected that. I was just asking a question. Like, I was just curious, like, is this normal in a sauna? And the answer is yeah. Like, depending on the climate you live in, wood will, when it's wet, it will expand, and when it dries out, it will contract a little bit.
Yeah.
But you've done some things that I have not seen in any other sauna. I don't know what the word is, but like you have two of the big pieces of wood on top of each other, but then you put another piece in between them. So if they do like expand and contract a little bit, there's always wood filling in the air gap.
Yeah.
I never even thought that was an option until me and Mills built my sauna that's in my yard. Like, that's so cool. How cool is it that you can literally drive from your house, go to your manufacturing where everything is happening, and make those changes? Like, that is unique. I don't think you know this, I'm sure you do, but that is not normal.
It's that process, and like the way the wall construction is doesn't happen without the first 10 customers.
Right.
Yeah. We could go through extensive R&D on our own, but once you actually start shipping things and you get real-time feedback, it's so important that you listen to your customers and take care of your customers and like do it right, because if you do it right, that then bears fruit long term. And I think it's also really important. This is like a really good lesson for any entrepreneur, and it's something that I had to learn, is like, as much as like you build a business to generate wealth and generate income for your internal team, yourself or your family, that's a byproduct of doing the right thing every single time and leaning on the things that like customers really would have an impact by. Like, right now, I genuinely feel like God uses our business to impact people through sauna therapy and doing hard things and embracing what Sisu means, which is grit. And, just continue to move through and stay in these, hard situations. And it just so happens that we're able to support our families this way. But ultimately, like, that doesn't happen without us obsessing over the product. And so I never want to ever get content with that process. And if down the road, like, I don't know I haven't set a 10-year target in a long time, and I don't really care to, but if ever down the road I'm ever stepping away from Sisu, I still want to know that whoever ends up inheriting this company, I want them to cherish it the same way that and do it the same way that we do. And that, again, is just obsess over the product, take care of the customer.
Absolutely, man. So earlier you mentioned relationship equity. Like that is a huge part of you. And not to get too, fangirly or anything like that, who would you say, like, top 3 to top 5 people that shocked you own a Sisu sauna?
Okay. Really good question. I couldn't say, like, in this perfect...
No order.
But I would say, like, the top 5 people that own a Sisu that I'm just completely floored by would be Michael Jordan, Jelly Roll, you could say Jason Aldean.
Dude, that's so great. And they all use code MOSS.
Yeah, every single one of them use code MOSS.
I don't know, maybe.
We've had just some incredible...
2 more. Let's throw 2 more out there.
Okay.
These are massive names.
You could say like Dustin Thomas, the golfer.
Dude, JT?
Yeah, JT.
That's sick.
And what's your...
I'm saying Nick Baer.
You could say Nick Baer's our top customer. He's bought like five Sisus.
For real?
He actually bought 5 Sisus.
Dude, Nick's the legend.
Yeah. He uses his own code and buys saunas.
He uses his own code?
Yeah.
Dude, I do that sometimes. Not with saunas, but I do that sometimes.
He's a legend. And then I'm trying to think like anyone else. I would say if you would say from an ambassador side, the one person that really blew me away outside of yourself, that I'm just completely amazed by was Cameron Haynes.
Yeah, King's the man, dude. I want to meet him one day.
He was as real the deal as you could get, and he's an incredible hard worker, and went way above and beyond whatever I'd expect of one of our ambassadors within 24 hours. And
dude, that's amazing. Yeah, that's so cool. What a list. And that's a short list. I mean, we've thrown some names around before, and it's like, I think Rich Froning's on the list.
Yeah, Rich Froning's on the list.
I think you'd have to pick a demographic. Or what are you talking about? Country singers? Are you talking about pro golfers, NBA legends, NFL players?
Yeah, we're about to, like, T. Higgins is, he's the wide receiver for the Cincinnati Bengals. He's a big client of our...
What about pro skateboarders? Any pro skaters?
Yeah, we've got a couple. Actually, do you know Neen Williams?
I do know Neen, yeah.
Neen's awesome. Pro, incredible guy.
I think I saw, I might be wrong, but I think I saw like Greg Lutzka.
Greg Lutzka's got a Sisu.
Bro, Greg, a legend. Like,
yes.
Such a legend. Dude, it's so cool. And what makes me so happy about that list is like, these are people who see the value in sauna therapy and have access to so many other things. Like, to a lot of people might actually think a sauna is like not that important to have at their house because a lot of gyms offer it, right? Like you go to Lifestyle Family Fitness or whatever, different gyms for $10 a month have a sauna in there. But there's a massive difference between using a sauna at a gym when you're working out that one time and having a sauna at your house that you can choose when you want to do it, how long you want to do it, who you're doing it with. And it's been really cool. Like, my wife started her YouTube channel and she started posting some videos on it. And we've been talking about curating ideas. And one of the biggest things that she's constantly having conversations with her friends about is like, if you were investing in one expensive wellness tool, what would it be? And there's like a good list of options, right? But it would have to be a family-sized sauna. And I know there's people out there watching who live in apartments or listening who live in apartments and they don't have space for a full-size 2 to 4 to 6 person sauna, or so they think. But man, there is something magical about being able to invite another couple to your house. And instead of sitting on the table and drinking a glass of wine or sitting on the couch and watching a movie or whatever, sitting at a sauna, doing hard things together, sweating together. You can't have technology in there for longer than 3 minutes together. Some of the best conversations as a family have happened in my family inside the sauna. and it's invaluable. Like nothing touches that experience. I'm just curious because you mentioned the 5 a.m. club and some of the people that you have kind of rallied around in your hometown. And I'm just curious, like, how has your experience been just with that in mind, with the community in mind?
There's a couple of things that come to mind. You have these community-driven like dad workouts where you bring in a dad that's never done like an early AM lift, sauna, cold plunge before, and when they leave that session and they shoot you a text like, "Man, I feel incredible right now." I remember having one of our good friends who's a fireman. He came over for like a late night sauna cold plunge session. He was so relaxed after a sauna cold plunge session that he got pulled over on the highway for having like lead foot.
Oh no!
Because he was just so zenned out. And it was so funny. The cop pulled him over and he's like, "Officer, I'm so sorry. I just got done with a sauna cold plunge session." And he's like, "All right, man, like I'm glad to know that you're doing all right."
Yeah.
Because I don't know if you noticed, but you were going 20 miles an hour. I mean, and it's incredible that people, funny stories like that. But I feel like when you look at the family aspect, my wife and I, that's like where we break bread together at the end of the night.
Yeah.
And right now she's pregnant, so we're not doing it in sauna right now. But when we're in that period where like she's not pregnant, like that's where we go hit the sauna around like 8 o'clock. We'll do 20 minutes. We'll go to bed. And some of our most raw, meaningful conversations, some like our most direct conversations we've had together happen there. And there's other times where we don't even talk and we're sitting in there and just enjoying that quality time together. And you just can't understand like what that is like unless like, you've been.
Yeah.
And
an experience, man.
Yeah. The community aspect and the relationship aspect is top notch. And I also want to say some of the best business ideas we've ever had have come from having business meetings literally in the sauna. Yeah. We'll do an hour of sauna cold plunge and we're just chatting. And the next thing you know, by the end of the session, somebody unlocks something in their brain, and next thing you know,
endorphins are flying. You're feeling good. You're feeling, what's that movie, The Croods, where they're sitting in the sauna and he's like, "Oh, you want guy?" I don't remember exactly, but
it's so funny. So I definitely think it unlocks something in your brain
for sure.
If you're entrepreneurial, or it could be any like problem, any solution, or like any opportunity, like you could think through it in there. And especially if you keep away from your phone and just let your body zen out and feel the heat and feel the cold, it unlocks something there.
I love that. Frequently asked question. What is the top frequently asked question that you get as the founder of a sauna company?
Should I get a barrel sauna or a cabin sauna?
What is your answer?
I tell them it depends. There's two different types of buyers. There's square cabin sauna buyers, and then there's barrel sauna buyers. The barrel sauna has, in my opinion, 3 different things. One, it's more private, so it's a little bit more of this conducive feel to having less glass, so there's less natural light coming in, but it feels rustic. You can't beat that.
For sure.
2, you genuinely love the aesthetic of a barrel in your backyard. I love the aesthetic of a barrel. You just can't beat that feeling. It does look good. I think the biggest underrated part of a barrel sauna is that it is the best community building sauna out there. It's far beyond any cabin sauna that you could do because everybody's facing toward one another. So when heads go down, and if you're sitting across from somebody, you're still having conversations flowing back and forth. And you just can't get that in a cabin. In a cabin sauna, you have higher benches, which means that you are higher up in the heat cavity, which means that it can't last as long.
It's tough, bro.
Right. Because in a barrel sauna, your feet are below the heater, which means that you have more heat stratification. You could dip out of the heat. You can't do that in a cabin sauna. So that's number one, is the 2-tier benches. And the way that we built our Sisus is that the ceiling is 7 feet, but your head is 1 fist length from the top of the ceiling, which means you are as high as you possibly can be in a sauna. 2, there's tons of natural light in our cabin. So if you love that natural light, great. And then 3, if you love the aesthetic of a square, then do that. One other thing that always comes to mind is like price point. If you're looking for something that's more cost effective, always go with the barrel. There's just far less material and there's much less labor involved. So price point is lower. And then if you're looking for something that's just really this beautiful timepiece, aesthetic, and beautiful modern look, go with a cabin.
Yeah.
So I always steer people toward those directions and then helping decide from there.
I love that you did that you kind of answered that question with other questions, because that's typically how it is for me. I get people like, hey man, what's the best cold plunge? What's the best sauna? You've reviewed them all. And I'm like, I mean, the reason I review so many is there's so many variables that change, like budgets is a concern, space is a concern, weight is a concern, how many people, material, sensitivities, those are all very real things that I don't think people really think about until they talk to somebody who has been in a lot of them.
Yeah.
And it's fun to be able to help. So I think that for me, as somebody who reviews a lot of different products, that I think a sauna is an important part of the wellness journey. What would you say, and I'm going to assume you would agree with that sauna would be top tier wellness products. What would you say is a close second?
A pair of running shoes.
A pair of running shoes. What if you're not a runner?
I believe this in get a pair of running shoes.
Just get a good pair of running shoes and you'll become a runner?
I think that it's not necessarily even running. I think it's moving from point A to point B, whether that's walking, rucking, like jogging, like walk, run, sprinting. I think that the human body's meant to move that way.
Yeah.
And the more that you fight it, the more you're less being human. And so your body's going to compensate and figure out ways to make it happen. But I think the lowest hanging fruit investment you can make is a good pair of running shoes and commit to.
What's your favorite?
I love for trail Hoka Speed Goats, 6s, and then the Clifton 9s for my everyday runner. And then I'll wear like a Hoka Mach 6 or Mach X for a carbon plated runner.
Let's go, man.
But if you're talking like other big ticket item outside of sauna, I would say having, this is just me because I'm biased, is a cold plunge.
Yeah.
A 1 minute cold plunge every day or every other day, 2 minute cold plunge every other day does something to your anxiety and stress that no other product can do. And it just makes you so incredibly present, which is something that we lack in 2025. Because that's so true, bro. It seems like that they have ADD. I have ADD, but all of a sudden I don't have it when I'm in a cold plunge.
Feel right. It just feels right.
Yeah.
And doing contrast therapy, combining both of them.
Yes.
One of the powerful tools.
Yes.
It's always a good thing when your dog loves you, right? Like, I think that's a good thing, but bro, can you read the room? We're in the middle of a podcast. For those of you listening to this podcast, my dog is just in my chair, licking me. I don't know, she just needs some love. So I agree with you. Cold plunge, sauna, if you have space for both, if you can afford both, those are definitely two items that will change your life. Like, it's a life-changing modality. No matter what your health is like, whether you're already a peak athlete or if you're somebody who really is struggling health-wise in a big way. I mean, I'm not a doctor, it's not medical advice, but I would encourage every human being to find a way to get into colder water than 90 degrees and get into a hot bok that's over 170 degrees at some point. And for some point of time. Doesn't have to be for a long time, but just feel that feeling. It changes a lot.
The sauna is the lowest barrier for entry for any sort of like exercise modality. Now, granted, sauna is really an exercise mimetic, which means it mimics exercise, but should never replace actual exercise. But if you're talking about trying to get somebody to sleep well and encourage them to get out and run or get them out to lift weights and just be a good human, the sauna is the easiest because all you do is you go open up a door and then you sit down and then you're heading out there.
Right.
You're not moving and you just sweat.
And your heart rate's climbing.
Yes.
You get into zone 2, just sitting down, sweating with your friends.
Yes.
It's the best. A few rapid fire questions randomly.
Okay.
What is your favorite workout style to do?
My favorite workout style, because I'm a runner, I would say would be a 2 mile warm up, 10 by 400 meter run, 2 mile pull down. And it's a lot of running, but I love 400 meter repeats because they kick my ass every single time.
Bro, we need to go do that.
We should 100% do that.
We need to go do that.
Yes.
Mountains or beach?
Mountains.
Mountains, really?
Mountains.
Lakes or saltwater ocean? Saltwater ocean. Lakes or ocean? You got me all trippy when you jumped into the lake and you're like, I was expecting salt.
Ocean.
Ocean?
Yes.
I'm sorry to disappoint. Boat or jet ski?
Boat.
Surf or snowboard?
Surf.
Surf?
Surf.
Dude, we're going to, all right, we still got time to go surf today. We're going to go surf.
Good.
Steak or chicken?
Steak.
All right, cool. I mean, you pretty much 100% with what my answers would be. Let's go, man. Well, I want to give you an open mic, an opportunity to share anything with my viewers, audience that maybe you don't get the opportunity to share all the time. So the floor is yours.
For myself and the way that I love to live life and the way that we built the business of Sisu, like I was alluding to earlier, like relationships are our biggest equity. And I just feel really blessed that we built some incredible relationships with guys like yourself, guys like Eric Hinman, Todd Anderson, Cam Haynes, all these guys. But I think that the more that, and this is more of like an advice, not like look into me, but the more that we lean on putting ourselves out there and, you know, post on social and like, don't be afraid to reach out to people, like build connection. I think that our unlock to our untapped potential of ourselves is through other people.
Yeah.
And experiencing things with other people, because you're going to force me to do things that I'm not comfortable with. Eric's going to force me to do things that I'm not comfortable with. And that's how we grow. And so if you're somebody that's looking to like really unlock that next level of business or next level of family, next level of training, like do it with other people and include people as a part of that, because that's how you grow. And that's something that I wish more people would just do, is don't be afraid to reach out and ask for help and include people along the journey, because that's how we make progress.
Dude, 100% agree with that. And I love that. Dude, I just want to say thank you so much for making the trip down here to my house in Tampa, spending a couple days with me. We've hung out at the lake. We've had some good workouts, got some work done together, made some content together, which is great. Can't wait to get those videos up. To anybody watching, listening, if you don't have a sauna and you're thinking about getting one, I would encourage you to consider Sisu. Definitely, I have a link down in the description below. You can go to dmjr.co/Sisu. That's SISU. And if you do decide to purchase, use discount code MAUS. That's MAUS. It'll save you a juice of discount. Supports my channel and all my things that I do in my life and the content that I make, which is great. And it also saves you a little bit of money, so it's a win-win for everybody. And you get a great sauna. And if you have any questions that maybe we didn't go over in this podcast that you'd love to ask Pete, I'm going to link his socials in the description of this video and this podcast, and I'd love for you to follow him. He puts out some incredible content. Not only is he the founder, like there's a lot of founders out there, but there's not a lot of founders who have ran 100-milers and won ultra marathons in Antarctica. Like, you have an incredible, impressive resume, and so does your dad, and so does your wife, and soon, so will your kids, it seems. I mean, it kind of rubs off. Like, it's all part of the family. And I'm glad to call you a friend and watch your journey. It's just been an impressive one just the past couple of years that I've known you. And I know God's got your back, and he's going to keep moving you through a lot of different seasons. And I'm just excited to see what he does in and through your life, man.
Likewise, man. It's one of the main things that David and I connected on early on was our faith. Like, faith is the core of my life, my business partner's life, my wife's life, everybody's. And that was the one thing that we connected on, was how God's somehow working through us.
Yeah.
He chose to work through us in the craziest ways, in ways that you can't even figure out unless if you like kind of pull yourself back and realize like, wow, like God's extremely present. Yeah. So if you're questioning like your purpose, just always remember like your natural tendencies and the things that like you just get really excited about. Like, God's asking you to go and do those things, and that's what we're doing with Sisu. Is like, we really feel like God has his hand on our business, and he just chose us to steward it and just do the right things with it. And I could live with that.
Well, you're changing lives. And one last little comment on saunas is like, you know, they used to say, and they probably still do say, like, don't buy a boat, just have a friend with a boat.
Yeah.
Buy a sauna, because you will change the lives of yourself, your spouse or future spouse, your kids or future kids, your best friends, your family. Like, I have had some of the best conversations with people inside our sauna, and it's something I look forward to. I look forward to our session tonight. We got some friends coming over. Who knows what is in store?
Yep.
Who knows what's going to come from these conversations? But it's just exciting to have a space where you can go technology free and just get in that mode together. It's one of my favorite places to be. Well, Pete, I appreciate you, man.
Okay.
This was a fun one. To everyone watching, once again, any questions, pop them down below. Make sure you like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. We'll see you guys on the next video. Have a great day, my friends, and God bless.